Gathered here are journalists, lawyers, as well as officials of the Ministry of Justice and those from the Ministry of Women Affairs alongside members of civil society organizations at the instance of Clean Foundation for this 3-day training on the implementation of the administration of the criminal justice law and women, peace and security here in Makurdi, the state capital.
Know that this is a big challenge.
Executive Director Clean Foundation Peter Maduama gives a rundown of how the 12 states under review have fared in terms of implementation of the ACJL and WPS, with Benue and some other states still struggling.
That there's persistent gap in ACJL implementation. 2, there's weak coordination across justice institutions. 3, state of administration of criminal justice monitoring committee is poor. Persistent structures and integrity related constraint. You know that this is a big challenge. Very over. This morning somebody has said, when I talked about the police, say no, not in Benue. But you see, it's because of what people are experiencing, the persistent integrity issue, the distrust or the trust gap that exists and should not be there. So again, number 6 is the low police compliance with critical ACJL procedures. Again, like I said, police has a lot to do. I always say the police is the beginning, is the alpha when it comes to the chain.
He goes on to make some recommendations.
For the security agencies, we are saying they should improve operational capacity for right-based policing and ensure training for security agencies, adopt technology to strengthen accountability, and strengthen right-based policing. Our recommendation for judiciary is that they should expand accountability measures in custodian centers.
State Chairman ACJL Monitoring Committee Victoria Dawa speaks on her observations when the team visited 2 correctional facilities and discloses plans to improve the situation.
We've been able to carry out advocacy visits and then fact-finding visits to 2 correctional centers in the states, the Makurdi Correctional Center and Boko Correctional Center. And the idea was to find out what the current situation is in the correctional centers, as we call them, whether they are actually correctional or something else. And I'm sure the findings were nothing too strange to us. We have people who have been on a waiting trial for quite a while. We have people who have been remanded for very, very outrageous sums of money. Should I say something that can just be waived? We have people who have nobody to represent them. We have some women in prison. I think we found one with a child in prison, where part of the findings is what we'll be disseminating tomorrow, sharing with key justice stakeholders, lawyers who provide pro bono services, to see how they can support. We also have people who just need a little amount to scale their bill terms, and we're also going to be sharing with stakeholders to see what we can do to help them.
While giving their commitment to do more to ensure the full implementation of the ACJ law and WPS in the state, participants equally spoke on their expectations from duty bearers.
One of the things you see today in the police cases you see, there's a particular case in court today where Ukankuru, a civil rights activist, is arraigned by the police on a 38-count charge for demanding the police account for how a suspect was arrested over fraud and he turned up dead in their facility. Now, if the police cannot account for its processes of arresting a suspect and the person dies in their custody, can we say ACGL is working in Benue? And that is because you can now see that even the implementation committee is not doing its job. Otherwise, the commissioner of police, the state command should be answering to why a suspect is dead, and the campaigners for this right are arraigned in court instead of the issue of somebody dead in custody. So ACGL essentially is to give us opportunity, therefore, to begin to right the wrongs we see in the judicial system. The judges are supposed to interrogate these processes. The correctional services are supposed to see whether or not these persons referred to their facilities have actually earned the reason to be in that place. If we have all these sectors working together, I can assure you that people will be less people awaiting trial, less people will be convicted for crime they did not commit.
Like you said, lack of coordination by all these groups, the judiciary, the police, and all that. Suspects are kept for too long in custody, in detention. They're not taken to court. There's no speedy trial of their cases. And so they are kept there for so long. And some of them, maybe just for some petty crime they have committed, which they're not even supposed to be there without number of time. Because of negligence, and because of the fact that the committee, like I said, the committee is supposed to be working, like the report we are giving, that in other states, this committee have been able to ensure that some persons who are in custody for so long they've ensured their release. But the Benue here is still a far cry. We've not heard of anything like that.
Government must take a decisive action to provide funding. It beats my imagination that so much is going on in the judiciary when it comes to infrastructure. But that committee has been neglected. It is not funded. If we are able to raise funds for them to monitor, because what they're supposed to do is to monitor the implementation, to monitor those of us that are the stakeholders that are involved in the administration of criminal justice. If that one thing is done, I believe that it will improve a lot.
To help with the renewal and then implementation of particularly the WPS State Action Plan, which expired since 2024, creating a policy vacuum that has weakened coordination mechanisms, the 3-day training winds down with the launch and handover of policy documents to facilitate action. Dofan Aga, AIT News, Makoto.